I never told my girlfriend I couldn't hold her hand in public because of my dad's voice in my head because she thought I was just shy, not ashamed, and I let her believe that until she got tired of waiting for a version of me I was too afraid to be. I, 28 male, never told my girlfriend the real reason I wouldn't hold her hand in public. I let her think I was just shy. But that wasn't it. The truth is, I couldn't do it because I could still hear my dad's voice in my head. And I was too afraid to stop listening to it. We were together for almost 2 years. Her name was Sam. Short for Samantha, but no one called her that. She hated how formal it sounded. She once said, if someone calls me Samantha, it means I'm either getting sued or fired. That was her. Always half-joking, always sharp, always quicker than me in a room. We met when I was 25, working at this indie coffee shop in Austin. I was doing my grad program and pulling weekend shifts. She was a regular. Always came in on Sundays with a tote bag full of thrift store books and a half-finished cold brew in a reusable cup. She had these giant headphones and would talk to me while pulling one ear off. I thought she was just being polite at first. But then she started waiting until I was on register. She asked my name. Brought me cookies once. Little things. She asked me out. I still remember how she said it. Hey, so what are you doing that isn't sad and lonely this Friday? I stammered out something like, nothing. And she said, cool. Now you're not. She made things easy. That's what killed me later, how easy she made it. At least at first. She kissed me after our third date. She was the one who reached across the table, touched my hand and said, is it okay if I kiss you now? I nodded and she did. Just like that. I remember thinking, this is okay. This is safe. Felt right. But it was always private. She was patient. So patient. She never asked for a big show. Never tried to make me into something I wasn't. But she did want to be held. Especially in public. On the street. At the movies. Waiting in line for food trucks. Just small things, a hand on the back, fingers laced together. But every time she reached for me, I froze. I'd pull away gently. Pretend I needed to check my phone. Say I was sweaty. Say later. Joke about it. She always let it go. At least out loud. But I saw her eyes change. A little less spark each time. One night, we were walking through a festival downtown. Music, food trucks, lights. It felt like one of those perfect nights. She was wearing this blue denim jacket that she always rolled the sleeves up on. Her hand brushed mine. And for a second, I thought, do it. Just take it. Take her hand. Be normal. Be yourself. But then I heard it. Like always. My dad's voice. Not yelling, worse. Calm. Quiet. Loaded. You're not like that, son. Don't start acting like it. He said that to me when I was 14. I'd been watching a show, nothing graphic, just a scene with two guys kissing. He came into the room, stood in the doorway. Didn't speak at first. Then he said that line. And then he left. No punishment. No lecture. Just disappointment hanging in the air like a trap I just stepped in. Later that week, he took me to the gun range. Didn't say why. Just said, let's go do something. I think that was his way of fixing it. Like, let's reset you. Let's steer you back. So I learned to hide it. All of it. Wanting boys. Wanting girls. Wanting anyone. I just shut it down. By the time I met Sam, I'd gotten good at passing. I'd even convinced myself I wasn't lying, just private. Just not big on PDA. Not affectionate in public. Nothing wrong with that, right? But the truth was, I wanted to hold her hand. God, I wanted to so badly. Every single time she reached for me, I felt like a coward. Not because I didn't want her, but because I did. And I couldn't show it. I still remember the night it cracked. We were sitting on my couch, some movie playing we weren't watching. She turned to me and said, can I ask you something? I nodded. Are you ashamed of me? That hit me like a punch to the chest. I shook my head. No. No, of course not. She looked down. Then why can't you ever hold me? In public, I fumbled. Said some crap about how I'm just not a display kind of guy. She was quiet a long time. Then she said, I think you're waiting for someone to give you permission to be who you already are. I didn't say anything. Because she was right. I was waiting. For someone to tell me it was okay. That I wasn't broken. That I could want who I wanted and not have to hide it. That I could be seen. But that person never came. And I couldn't be it for myself. A few weeks later, she left. No fight. No drama. Just said she couldn't keep waiting. that she'd spent 2 years trying to make me feel safe, and that maybe I needed to figure out what safety meant to me without her. She kissed my forehead when she left. That's the part that wrecked me. That small, soft goodbye. I never told her about my dad. Never told her about that day when I was 14. Never told her how every time she touched me in public, I felt like I was back in that living room, watching my father's eyes go blank with disappointment. I just let her think I was shy. And maybe that was easier. For me, not for her. After Sam left, I didn't date anyone for a long time. I told myself I was focusing on work, on getting my degree finished, on sorting myself out. But the truth was, I didn't want to be seen again, not by someone who could see right through me like she did. I went back to the same coffee shop, kept my head down. Some days I thought I saw her walk past the window, but it was always someone else. I unfollowed her on everything. It was the only way I could stop wondering who was holding her hand now. Months went by. I tried to move on. Then one day, out of nowhere, I got a message on Instagram. It was from someone named Danny. I didn't recognize the name at first, but then I opened his profile and I froze. He was my cousin. On my mom's side, we hadn't spoken since we were kids, maybe 12 or 13. Our families stopped talking after some falling out I never got the full story on. But there he was, grown, living in Houston, smiling with a guy in almost every photo. He wrote, "Hey, this is random. I found your profile through someone mutual and just wanted to say, I always wondered if you were like me. And if you are, you're not alone." I stared at that message for a long time. I didn't reply, but I looked at his photos again. Him and his boyfriend at a lake. Him and a bunch of people I didn't recognize at a pride event. A dog wearing a rainbow bandana. They looked free. And all I could think was, why wasn't I? A few days later, I went to visit my mom. I hadn't told her about Sam, or anything really. We were close in that surface way where we talked a lot but never said anything that mattered. We were having coffee at her kitchen table when I finally asked, why did we stop seeing Aunt Laura and them? She looked at me for a second, then said, you know why? I don't. I said, I really don't. She sighed. Your dad didn't like how Danny turned out. Thought it'd confuse you boys. Said it wasn't right to be around. I swallowed hard. So he cut them off? He thought it was best. Did you? She looked away. I went along with it. I thought that's what we were supposed to do. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing Danny's message. And Sam's voice, too. That last thing she said about waiting for someone to give me permission. A week later, I messaged Danny back. We talked for hours. About our childhood. About how he came out. About the silence from my side of the family. He never said it, but I could tell he'd been hurt by it. That we all just disappeared. I asked him if he was scared when he came out. He said yeah, but I was more scared of never living at all. That sentence hit me hard, because I was scared of that too. But I was still stuck. Still avoiding. Still pretending I was just shy, even though my whole life was shaped by one moment in a living room when I learned how to disappear. I started seeing a therapist not long after that call with Danny. Nothing dramatic pushed me there. I just woke up one morning, looked around my apartment, and realized I hadn't changed anything in over a year. The same coffee mug on the counter. The same stack of unread books. The same unopened box with Sam's stuff in the closet. Her denim jacket was in there. The one she always wore. I kept it because I told myself she might come back for it. But she never did. Therapy was hard at first. I didn't even know how to talk about the things I'd never said out loud, not even to myself. I started with small things. Gradually, the bigger ones came out. About Sam. About my dad. About that voice in my head I couldn't shut off. One day, my therapist asked, what do you think would happen if you held someone's hand in public? I didn't have an answer, because I'd never really thought about what I feared, just that I did. She said sometimes the thing that scares us isn't the world. It's that we might finally feel free and not know what to do with it. That line stuck with me. And then, not even 2 months later, my dad had a stroke. He was in the hospital in San Antonio. I hadn't spoken to him in over a year. Not really. I went out of obligation. He couldn't talk much, just weak murmurs, partial movement. But when he saw me, he tried to smile. I didn't feel what I thought I would. No anger, no vindication. Just sadness. A tired, hollow kind of sadness. I sat with him for a while. Watched him sleep. Then I looked at the nurse's chart at the foot of the bed and saw who his emergency contact was. Not my mom. It was me. I hadn't even known. And for a moment, I felt trapped again. Like I was right back under that quiet pressure. Be the good son, don't ask questions. Keep it all inside. On the drive back to Austin, I pulled off at a rest stop and just sat in the car, shaking. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there with my hands gripping the wheel and thought, I can't keep living like this. Something had to change. I had to say it, out loud, even if it was just once. So the next day I called Sam. I don't know what I thought would happen. I didn't expect her to forgive me. I didn't even know if she'd answer. But she did. Hey, she said. Her voice was careful, guarded. I'm not calling to fix anything, I said. I just need to tell you something I never said. She didn't interrupt. I told her everything. The day with my dad. The way his words stuck in my head. How I wasn't shy, I was afraid. Afraid of what holding her hand in public would mean for me. What it would mean to finally be seen. When I finished, there was a long pause. Then she said, I wish you'd told me that then. I know. I wasn't asking you to be loud, she said quietly. Just honest. I know, I said again. And I did. That call didn't fix anything. She didn't say she missed me. She didn't say we'd talk again. She just thanked me for telling her. After I hung up, I sat on my bed and stared at the wall. And for the first time in years, I felt something shift. Just a little. Not enough to drown out his voice completely. But enough that for once, it wasn't the only one I heard. Sometimes people say it's never too late to be who you are. But they don't talk about how much it costs when you waited too long. I didn't lose Sam because I didn't love her. I lost her because I let someone else's silence shape my own. And now every time I see someone holding hands without thinking twice, I don't feel hope. I feel something colder. Like I missed the one chance I had to be real and I let it slip away because I was still afraid of a man who barely speaks anymore. And the truth is, I'm still mad that I let his voice speak louder than mine.